Good morning, Year 3. It is Thursday, the 4th of February. And we're going to continue learning how to tell the time in maths. Your learning objective today is to tell the time in the 24-hour clock. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go through our lesson. Right, your in-focus task today, I want you to have a look at this board here. Some of you might recognise it, have seen it before. It's called a departures board, nearly said departures lounge, and you find them in an airport. So I just want you to pause for a minute and think what this might be used for. Okay, this is to tell people what time their flights come in. So you can see we've got the time here, which we're going to have a little look at shortly. So these tell you the times that the flight takes off, because that's what departure means. If you depart from somewhere, you leave from somewhere. So the times that they take off. This is the flight number. You don't need to worry too much about that. The destination is where the plane is going to land. The gate, again, that's just where you go to get onto your plane, so you don't need to worry about that, and you don't need to worry too much about the status. It's just telling you whether the flight has gone or whether you can get on. The ones we're going to concentrate on are the times, and we're going to look at the destination here. So your question this morning, your in-focus task is, what time is it now? So I need you to look down here at the watch. And what time is the flight to Bangkok? So you need to use the information on this board. See if you can figure it out. I want you to pause now. See if you can answer those two questions. Okay, you may be thinking we don't have, first of all, the number 13 on a clock. The highest number that it goes up to is the number 12. So where do we get the number 13 from? We're going to come back to this soon. The time and the flight to Bangkok, so you need to look along the board. Bangkok was there, and the time was 14:50. Again, we don't have the hour 14 on the clock. So this is where we're going to figure out what these times mean. What is 14:50 and what is 13? The first thing that you need to understand is that there is an AM and a PM. And the AM is the morning and the PM is the afternoon and the evening. So usually you would start to get out of bed in the AM roundabout, if it was a Monday school day, roundabout here. And you come into school at 9 AM and we start our lessons. You have your break time, and then we do English, and when it gets to 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, that's when you have lunch and it becomes PM. Then we come back in, we have more lessons, and you go home at about 3 o'clock. You'll probably have your tea, go out to play and watch the television, and then go off to bed. And when it gets to 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, it becomes AM again. And you will sleep all the way to here and start the day again. All right, so I'm going to show you that in another form. So here we are again. You get up you probably get up about here. Then you come into school, have your lessons, becomes lunchtime. Remember what it was called after lunchtime? It is PM. I think it was red on the other one. We'll keep it the same. PM. So then it's the afternoon. You have your afternoon lessons. You go home, you play out, and you go to sleep. And then we have midnight, in the middle of the night. Midnight, middle of the night. And it goes all the way back round into morning. And you sleep through into here, and the day starts again. Let's have a little look at these together then. Let's start over here at AM. All right, so we're going to have a look at this bit first in the blue. If we are using the 12-hour clock, so what we have been looking at for the past 2 lessons, we're going to look along this line here. So 12 o'clock, that's the middle of the night, and it's still dark. And we come along 3 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning when you're at school, all the way up to lunchtime. And have a look at the way that the times are written. 12, 3, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. In the 24-hour clock, which we're going to have a look at today, up here, if it is 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, it looks like this in the 24-hour clock. However, the other times do not change a lot. The only difference is the 0 at the beginning as a placeholder. Okay, so if it is 3 o'clock in the morning, it's written like this. If it is 9 o'clock in the morning, it is written like this. Okay, so writing the time in AM isn't too difficult. However, we're going to have a look at PM now. This is where the times begin to change. Now, over the past few lessons, again, we've been looking at the 12-hour clock, which is the times down the bottom here. So 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, looks like that. Then 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're going home. 6 o'clock when you are having your tea or playing out. Then you should be in bed at 9 and in bed at 12 in the middle of the night. So again, they are easy to write. However, have a look up here. When we are writing in the 24-hour clock, it looks different when it's in the afternoon, the evening into the night. So the 12 o'clock looks exactly the same. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the 24-hour clock. This is 6 o'clock in the afternoon. This is 9 o'clock in the afternoon. What I want you to do is I want you to pause in a moment, have a look at the difference between these numbers. So what's the difference between 3 and 15? What's the difference between 6 and 18? What's the difference between 9 and 21? Remember, when you're finding this difference, you need to subtract. Okay, you should have worked out that the difference in all of these is the number 12. And we're going to continue to look at this next. I have put a link to a website just down here where you will find the pictures that we've just looked at, the diagrams that we've just looked at. mathsisfun.com/time. If you head over there, there are also these which show the time really clearly. You can move this up and down and it shows you whether it is night or day. As you can see, this top one here is AM, so it's the morning, it's light in the background. And this is the time in the 12-hour clock. This is the time in the 24-hour clock. Again, along the bottom, this shows it nighttime, so it's 8:50 p.m. at night. And this is what it looks like in the 24-hour clock. Again, the difference between 8 and 20 is the number 12. Head on over there and have a little look, just a little bit further learning for you. I want us to have a look here. We've got 11 o'clock in the morning. That's very important. If it's in the morning, remember, it is AM. So it's 11 AM, 11 o'clock in the morning. So if I was to write it in the 24-hour clock, it doesn't change because it's AM. So I'm still going to write it as 11. Okay, this one here is the afternoon. The afternoon is PM. And this is already written in the 24-hour clock, like this. Have a little think now. What would it be if I was to write it 1 o'clock and the 12-hour clock? It would look like this. And again, the difference is 12. Looking for that pattern all of the time. Okay, it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we have been writing it, the hour is 2. And no minutes have passed. So it looks like that. The afternoon, is it AM or PM? We should have had PM. Afternoon is PM. And if it's the PM, when it's in the 24-hour clock, it changes. What does it change to? Pause and write that down for me. The answer, it would change to 14, like that. Again, the difference is 12. So we're converting them when it is PM, when it is afternoon. Let's have a look at this boarding pass. The boarding pass, again, this is for, it is Fly Airlines up here, something that you get in an airport. It's giving you the travel date and the flight number. We're looking down here at this time, and it's telling us that the time is 10:15 or 15 minutes past 10. If I was to write it in the 24-hour clock, what would that look like? Pause and write it down, please. Okay, your minutes would stay, it's not a very good colour, I can't read that. Your minutes would stay exactly the same at 15. You should have added 12. So you should have had 20 to 15. This one here is already in the 24-hour clock because it's past the number 12 at the beginning. So it's 16:55 or 55 minutes past 16. What does that look like in the 12-hour clock? Remember what to do with this number. this time, in fact, pause, see if you can get it. This time you should have subtracted, so the minutes stay the same. Oh, 55 minutes passed, but you subtract 12. The answer is 4:55. This is what your work is going to look like over on Teams today. It is quite a tricky concept to understand, so just give it your best go. First job is to tell the time, and I've highlighted on here whether it is morning or afternoon, evening. Now if it's morning, it is AM. So we're going to tell the time first. I'm going to do the minutes, 5, 10, 15, 20. It is 20 minutes past. 20 minutes past. Remember to circle those if you'd like. It's past the number 8. So it's 20 minutes past 8. Now, if it is AM, the time stays exactly the same. It doesn't change. It's because it doesn't change in the 12-hour clock, in the 24-hour clock. Okay, so it's exactly the same. The time is how many minutes past something in the morning. So the time is 20 minutes past 8 in the morning. This time, I've kept the time exactly the same. However, it is afternoon, which means it is PM. So the time starts, it is 8:20, 20 minutes past 8 in the afternoon. And this time I'm going to change it to the 24-hour clock. So the minutes stay the same. I want you to pause. What would the hour be? You should have added number 12. You should have added 12 to it. So it would be 20:20. It's 20 minutes past 8 in the afternoon. And you fill in those boxes there. Got 2 more left to do. So again, you need to tell the time first. I'm going to look at the minutes. I can't count in 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes past. And it's just past 11. And it's morning. So think, is it AM or PM? It's AM, which means if it's the 24-hour clock, it does not change. It stays the same. So, yeah, that's right. The time is 3 minutes past 11 in the morning. Well done if you're still here, boys and girls. It's a long video, so keep going. I've kept the time the same for this one. It's 11:03, or 3 minutes past 11. But at this time, it's the afternoon. It's PM. So in the 24-hour clock, it changes. Minutes stay the same. And the hour should be 23. The time is 23 minutes past 11 in the afternoon. Okay, that was a very long lesson, boys and girls, so well done if you kept up with it all the way through. It is a tricky concept to do. The last 4 slides that look exactly like this, that is what I want you to do over on Teams. Okay, if you have any questions, get your mum or your dad or your auntie or uncle or whoever you are with right now to give me or Mr. Howell an email at that email address in the corner. Okay, bye boys and girls.